I'm gonna start. Japan sinks.
Sinks.
Japan sinks.
Sinks.
Japan sinks.
Sinks.
We did
Yay,
it.
it worked.
Bloop, bloop,
You did it.
We sunk Japan.
Hurrah.
bloop. Oh no, we're all dead. And what do dead people do? They have conversations about the things they enjoyed in life. In this case, the nation of Japan. How is everybody? I'm James.
Hello, James. I'm NeverPaint. I'm here to discuss an anime that's Japan, and it sings.
Yeah, we all watch Japan Sinks. I'm Graf, and I guess this is a review sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, a review. I'm not sure if we're gonna come out of here with like a score or anything, but well, we're all gonna talk about it, I guess.
Yeah.
Who else is here?
I'm Asha and I'm here to talk with my friends about an anime. Very hype.
And Alex.
Hello.
Hello. So, how did you guys like PewDiePie's anime The View?
I also called him PewDiePie the whole time.
Why? He doesn't even do gaming.
Does
You didn't call
PewDiePie
him
do
Casey
gaming?
Neistat, really?
Well, not anymore. But
See?
it doesn't even look
Does
like...
PewDiePie even go outside?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't... Okay. Maybe I'm
It's
too
probably
old
more
for
like
that.
Casey Neistat, but with a kite.
Kitey Nightstat.
Sort of.
Okay, how we want to do is want to share first impressions of the beginning of the show.
I feel
what
like
each of
the
us
first-
thought going into it.
I feel like the first thing we should mention is that none of us are familiar with the source material or any other adaptations.
Well, I watched a YouTube video about it, so I could say I'm an expert now.
Yes, yeah. we watched a pause and select video.
Japan Sinks is a franchise. It is a book and a few successful movies that adapt the book somewhat loosely, changing around elements of the story. And these movies are special because they're disaster movies that depict this very dramatic sinking of the islands of Japan, but each of them have a sociological context that they came out in. Which is why it's interesting to us that a new one came out right after the meltdown in what was Fukushima?
Yeah.
Was it Fukushima? Right after the meltdown.
right
in Fukushima.
after it, like 10 years later.
Yeah. And coincidentally so, the virus this year. So a lot of apocalyptic stuff has been going down for Japan and the world. And I'm sure it probably informed this film as much as other catastrophes informed the previous ones. This is a series, not a film.
Yeah.
Is
It's basically Godzilla without Godzilla.
Sure.
is Weathering of You also a Japan Sinks adaptation?
Oh my
No,
god, I
but-
hadn't
but
thought
it's
of it.
probably-
I'm sure it's
probably
inspired by it.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I hadn't thought
Wasn't
about
your
that.
name also inspired
It's
by
very-
like
it's very similar.
earthquake stuff?
I mean, what? What did you say?
Wasn't your name also like inspired by earthquakes and stuff?
Your name was
Like, natural
inspired by
disasters?
Alex. Because
Okay.
it's your name.
Your Name was a disaster movie that came out.
It wasn't
after
that bad.
It's not. It's not that similar, but I mean, there's always a connection between those things. So yeah, I feel like every adaptation, like every new adaptation of a thing, is sort of meant to introduce a new generation to a story that
Yeah,
somebody
that's a good
feels
point.
shouldn't get lost in time. And so we're now the new generation that gets introduced to this. And
Yeah, so we can watch the old stuff and trash talk the new one.
I do feel like
I
I want to
can't wait.
trash talk the new one a bit.
To be fair, it was a pretty hit or miss show. Sometimes it was like, oh wow, this is masterful. Other times it was like, they're beating me with the point over the head with a sledgehammer. It was like, it had all the subtlety in the world at some points, and then all the subtlety of a train careening off a cliff at other points. And it's so weird how wildly variable the writing was in this.
Yeah.
For me, it had like 3 really, really good episodes, and the other one were like complete trash.
Well, I wouldn't
to
say
me.
they're
Like,
complete
looking
trash.
back
Come on.
I
They were just so mediocre.
I enjoyed watching it, but like some of the spoilery stuff, it's like so strange that they even put that in, and like some characters shouldn't be there at all.
I disagree. I think most of what they put in served the point.
I do feel like every character served the purpose. The question is just,
Was it worth
does
it?
it make it a better story? Does it make it a good story if that character has this purpose and this there? I feel like it's trying to communicate something that doesn't really make for the most engaging story in a way. Or the way they did it is just it couldn't keep my interest up. I think I only finished it because we said we're going to record something.
I disagree with that. I thought it was pretty fun all the way through, honestly. I watched it all in one sitting, and I don't think I was ever bored.
Oh, okay.
Well, like it's
too,
always,
but like
in a way, the show is in a big way it's about luck and good luck and bad luck and good favor and bad favor. And there were always moments of like highly coincidental bad luck or bad quote unquote fate for these characters that kept the show moving very quickly. Like every time they arrived at some place, they did a couple things at some place, and then something would happen and they would have to move. In your classic like Saw style film in which terrible things happen every few minutes with lulls in between. So I never thought it was really boring.
Maybe I just didn't connect with the characters, so I didn't really care. I would have dropped it during the cult arc,
cult.
probably.
yeah. It was about luck, but to me it was about luck if like an episode was good or not. And like if a character had any point.
The
in
characters
story.
had a point in the story, though. You probably just didn't see it.
But it was so strange to me that like are we gonna preface that like we're just gonna drop spoilers?
I mean, it's a
all the
10
way
episode
Yeah,
show.
I mean,
Go
sure.
watch it. It's fun. I think it's worth watching.
through? Well,
I'm not sure
Okay,
if this
so-
It's definitely entertaining.
people die.
Not always in a good way.
And the ending is really cool. So
I mean, I wanted to keep watching it, but like it's so strange how good the first 2 episodes were at like setting cool stuff up, but then it was like just introducing really, really like strange characters that like was so they were all like character tropes.
Who do you think the strange characters were?
The weird blonde guy from the weed camp.
I like that guy.
Basically
the
all the
weird
cool
eyes.
stuff.
The Croatian
was-
guy?
I think that guy was one of the most important ones to the point of the show.
Wait, the
Okay.
the guy.
Yeah, the
Jin?
Gaijin.
You mean that guy?
Daniel?
Yeah.
Devu.
Wait, to the point of the show?
No,
In
Daniel.
what way?
Well, he's an expat that found a new home in Japan. And the show is about introducing this new generation of modern Japanese people who aren't afraid of multiculturalism and aren't afraid of important things. And the whole point is that Japan needs to go to other countries to survive, the population of Japan. And the fact that
see.
this foreign person is in Japan and knows a lot about Japanese customs and is even part of the Japanese quote-unquote religion, it shows that progress of Japanese society as a whole, I think. And that plus him sort of having some sort of romantic tension with the mother, I feel like are 2 pretty important points towards his inclusion in the show. He's the
do
counterpart of
agree.
the old man.
I feel like almost every character had like a purpose like this, and he was like definitely. I feel like every character in the show is sort of a representation of what the people who made the show think makes up the whole all the people of Japan.
Yeah,
You know?
I think they were archetypal on purpose, to be honest. I think that they were all like, oh, this is person A, this is person B, this is person C. They all have to coexist in Japan.
It's like
No,
you have
they all
you have
clash.
the actual Japanese person, which was the dad. Then you have like the Asian immigrant, which is the mom, and you have like the mix between 2, which is the children, and you have the college student, which was the girl that died at Mount Fuji. you have the neat shot in. It's like it's all these people that sort of make up modern Japanese society, and that's why they're all there. And that's why they also introduced the cult, because it's part of, you know, Japanese society, and it's just commenting on all these things.
What I'm trying to say was that I didn't hate the archetypes, but I just like the characters were good and the points the show made were good, but like it's not good. It's not a good story. It just was like moving to the next point the whole time.
That's definitely true.
Without like considering if it makes any sense at all.
It was definitely more of a character study than an actual story, quote unquote. Like it like I said, it felt a little bit like a soft film. Like, so soft films have cool stories, but in the sense that characters are in X situation, bullshit happens. Characters go to the next situation. It's more of a thriller style movie.
Sometimes so comically weird and funny, like in a Saw movie.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I don't know. I thought it was self-aware enough that it kept me going.
I felt it was more than a story. I rather saw it like, I don't know, a very superficial commentary on modern Japan. And what it would mean to go through a disaster.
It's definitely not like big brain mega deep. It was just a pretty straightforward message.
The moment that solidified the superficiality of the whole thing was the rap battle.
Of course, yeah. That's what I was like. That's what I was like. Okay, this is really cool, but fucking anime.
Yeah.
You didn't need to rap about
this. Was the whole thing that you tried to tell me the whole time.
I already got the message. I don't need 10 minutes of people rapping, even though the raps were good.
I was that scene felt kind of weird, because I was like, I actually do like that they put a rap battle in there, because it's kind of weird, but I would have hoped that like the lyrics of the rap battle would have been more in depth, like more something with more substance than what they said, because really all they said was just the most generic point you could make about something like this show.
Getting your wallet back sure is nice, hey?
My problem was more like that they all could rap. That felt very weird and
right.
That they all,
it sort of came out of nowhere.
No, please.
That too.
And then they suddenly start going on about like this kind of formulated point, as if they were thinking about their rap words all the time. And it made sense in Devilman, because it was like a group of teenagers.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's probably just a big old homage to the Devilman show, which is fine. But it's such an important scene, because it solidifies what each character believes in. Even though we already knew what each character believed in, sorta, except Main Girl, I guess, because Main Girl has been kinda indecisive and hasn't really talked up about her opinion. Her opinion is basically, fuck it, I don't want to be involved in you guys' squabbles, which is what she's done the whole show. But she formulated it better in the rap battle.
It was like so ridiculous. I really honestly didn't know if like the professor would start rapping.
Could you imagine he starts beatboxing? He starts like coughing up a beatbox like Oh my god, the professor was the dumbest part of the whole show. Okay, that was the worst episode. The episode where Main Girl goes to the hospital room and she's like, must be Morse code. Must be the professor. Trust him immediately. The coincidentally earthquake is coming. Take him with us. A key character for the rest of the show.
He can just predict earthquakes out of nowhere. Like,
he was the silliest part of the whole show.
Without tools or like measurements or anything.
He just predicted every single earthquake that was going to happen and then memorized them all or whatever. But still, like the way she figured that out, and the way she figured out that her mom had the thing around her waist, just by touching it and then looking it up and being like, it's that. It can't be anything else. It's got to be that. Those moments really pissed me off. Those were the worst moments of the show.
Yeah.
I just wish the show, like, the first episode set it up like it would be like a cool serious show with like cohesion and stuff. I really hope the show would be more like had like the subtlety of the first 2 episodes, and the episode where they were like stuck on
the
boat.
I really liked that.
That was a good episode.
That was because finally they were characters and not just representations of Japanese society.
I felt like the main girl and the kid were always like very realized characters, to be honest.
Sort of. I guess it was just overshadowed by like
all the archetypal stuff.
Very.
And Kite was a pretty cool character as well. All the
symbolism.
I think less developed than main girl and kid, but.
Yeah.
He like solidifies all the dumb stuff, all the like weird coincidence.
Well, he is the luck character. But his whole character is, I have luck, and that's how he survives at the end. Like he's literally alive in the last scene, wearing a disguise, watching the fucking running tournament and the League of Legends, the World Cup and stuff like that. And he yeah, you can see him in the crowd. Alive? He's wearing a disguise.
Yeah, he was alive at the end.
That's what made me really love him, because I was like, okay, he's the good luck character.
But wasn't the professor doing a VTuber Kite at the end? With his wasn't the professor like playing a VTuber Kite?
Well,
that's what I thought too.
The Kite live stream was still going on without him, but then you see him in the crowd. So you see that he's still around, disguised, so nobody would recognize him. He's wearing like a hood, like an Assassin's Creed hood. I don't know. There are some really cool moments when he gets the staples on his head, and he's like, they're like piercings. That like when the show has those pangs of subtlety, of progressive subtlety. I don't know. I really like it. I really like how woke the show is overall. USA continuing that trend.
I wonder if the weird inconsistency of the show within itself comes from having 2 directors. It kind of feels like it does.
I was guessing it comes from like maybe Netflix like saying, "Oh, it has to be 10 episodes."
I doubt it.
Nah, dude. I mean, I don't have like actual info about that, but from what I've heard of people talking about what working with Netflix is like, is that they give you a lot of freedom, so it's.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure if that has anything to do with Netflix.
Also, to be fair, if we go by what the same team has done previously, which was the Devilman show, that show was also inconsistent in tone and episode quality. So maybe it's just something they do. Maybe they just enjoy going off the rails and throwing in kooky stuff, like the death of the otaku guy being this comedic, just slapstick, like whoosh, he's dead. Stuff like that. I think they just love playing around.
And that's just it was intended to be comedic.
No, I feel like that could have been a very, very powerful scene, because just the way it was animated and it was like staged, the whole thing.
It wasn't after the
I thought it was really devastating and also really funny at the same time, like a lot of Devilman.
It kind of it's. I mean, point is, the show is just very inconsistent. It has moments where you feel like this is brilliant, and then it has moments where like just what am I even watching?
What is this curry? It's wheat curry. Okay, stuff like that.
The scene with the college girl she's just walking down the mountain to go take a
oh
pee,
my god!
And just like flat falls down, and dies of poison. It's a combination of horror and really funny that I adore.
Yeah, even
the
like
best thing
the
is that the main girl, like main girl, was like jealous at her, and a second later
main girl
dies.
has gotten a lot of trauma during this whole adventure. Every person she was slightly mean to died almost immediately after, except her mom, which died a few episodes after.
It was genuinely upsetting how her dad died right after. Yeah.
Asha, please. please rant about the leg.
The leg drives me mad. She got cut episode 1.
Nobody noticed.
The entire arc of it. She had so many goddamn opportunities. No, she did. She flinched at one point, and they were like, "Are you okay?" And it's like, "I'm fine." It's like, why aren't you just addressing the fact that you have a cut on your leg?
But that's my question. Like, I understand why she didn't say anything. Why didn't the 5 people that were traveling with her be like, "Hey,
why didn't anyone
your cut is
notice?
festering. Your leg's gonna fall off." That's so. I knew. Okay.
Like,
I knew that they were going to do the whole thing where
like...
she gets injured in episode 1 and it turns out to be a big thing later on in the story. But the fact that it was the whole show and nobody noticed drives me insane.
She was at a hospital. When they were at the college, she worked at the hospital.
Yeah.
Dang it. She was in the hospital at one point. She could have gotten stitches. The part that kills me is that they could have just had it get infected either way because she's constantly getting washed by water and stuff. It could have been, she could have been treating it and then get infected either way because of course she is. She's constantly traveling. But the fact that she never touched it drove me mad.
I agree. Everybody watch this show. Yeah. It's really fun.
It was just so she could lose her leg in the end.
And you know what? She can jump better with that leg, so she won because she lost her leg.
Oh, exactly. You can jump higher, you can escape the next wave.
Should have been a surfer.
Imagine all the people who were fishermen just being like, hell yeah. I'm sure they will.
I'm not sure if they will.
A lot of the comedy of the show definitely came from all the English speaking.
At least the kid was okay.
Can we talk about Go and his use of English, please? Can we talk about
No, wait.
It's funny.
Oh, fuck. The kid, I really like that they put it in for the kid because it's realistic. I kind of was.
It is realistic.
Yes, no,
I totally that kid at some point in some way.
He's such a weeb.
But then like even other characters use it in situations where it doesn't make any sense at all. And then the kid never really stops and he even uses it in situations where there's nobody around who understands English. Why are you talking in English if you're only with the old grandpa?
I understand why he keeps throwing out fun English slang terms. I don't get why people like kites have a Japanese accent when they speak English, and it drives me insane.
Or like random person on helicopter just goes, oh, what's wrong with you? Like, everyone speaks Japanese. Why do you like randomly start speaking English?
The weird scene with the Japanese chauvinists, with the racists. You remember that? And Kai just goes, "What an asshole!"
Didn't the kid?
I understand why he said it, because it's like a point, like he speaks English to the racists to make a point that he's not a racist, but it's like it doesn't make any sense. Why would he do it now?
But didn't the kid have this character arc with the old man where like he told him to have pride in Japan and stuff?
No, but in the end, the old man accepted the cool,
and then he went crazy and murdered people.
He learned from the kid.
But the kid learned nothing in return.
That is very weird. The fact that the kid never really learns the lesson of Japan is okay too. He kind of just stays a stubborn Westaboo until the end of the show. But at the same time, every other character kind of learns the lesson except him, and I kind of like that the dumb 9-year-old didn't learn anything. It's appropriate.
Wait, but he didn't. He in the end of the at the end of the show,
he represented Japan.
For gaming.
He could have represented the other Estonia, but he represented Japan.
Yes.
He learned his lesson.
Instead of Estonia.
He's the Japanese League of Legends champion.
Yeah.
Yep.
He did.
Which makes sense because he was 9.
Is there something about Estonia that I don't know that it's so cool?
I don't know why they picked Estonia.
Why is Estonia so cool in this show? What's the cool thing about it?
Because it's a foreign country.
Yeah. I mean,
why were they like, Estonia's
cool,
super modern? And I'm like, you live in Japan, bro.
Yeah, but
Like, I doubt that it's more modern than Japan.
It's like a grass is greener on the other side.
Yeah.
It's probably as modern as Japan, but like, yeah.
Is it? But is it?
I think it is. I don't know. I've
In
never
Estonia,
been there,
there's a
but
lot
the
of
Baltics are pretty cool
quarries
as far as I
and
know.
a lot of flooring made out of rocks and a lot of mining because it's Estonia.
Thanks, Lem.
Oh,
Thanks, James.
Dude,
Yeah,
it's
Estonia.
Gondor from Lord of the Rings, which translates to Stone Land.
Yeah. Everybody's really
Oh, I
short
have
there,
to
which
go
is why
there
the
now.
Japanese
Go to
really
Minas
like it.
Tirith. Hell yeah.
Because they don't feel
okay.
oppressed by the dwarves.
Can I make one more comment about the weird use of English?
No.
Yeah.
I did feel like sometimes it
Ham it up.
fit and it was realistic, but sometimes they really, sort of shot themselves in the foot with it.
Yeah.
Because they used it really out of tone. Which was the racist scene.
Oh my
and
God.
Then
Okay.
when Daniel had his goodbye, and he just says "Hasta la vista." It's not even
I
English.
kind
It's
of
not
like
even
that
English,
one
but
because that actually
It's
sounded
just-
more natural than a lot of the other English because it is like what a dumb English speaker, goofy person would say. They would go "Hasta la vista." Like I that's not out of place. I think I kind of like that one.
Yeah, that was fine.
Maybe if he wasn't a
if he didn't
Japanese
have
voice
the weird
actor.
accent. That's the thing. That's my whole problem with the thing. The problem with the whole English and
Yeah.
other languages thing is that it
Yeah.
doesn't sound authentic if they have the accent, and then it just doesn't work. Like I
Wait,
get the
wait,
concept.
wait,
The
wait,
concept
wait,
would
wait.
work, but if they can't deliver on it, then why write it in the show?
With them to tell them that it's wrong.
Wait.
That's not even true. It's Saru. They have like people.
Maybe they just gave up.
It's not hard to
Put it in
find
anyway.
fucking.
I assume we all watched it subbed, right?
Yeah, of course.
How did this translate to the English dub?
Maybe they start speaking Estonian or whatever they
I
speak over
wonder.
there.
They do what they do.
I don't know.
I've seen some weird English dubs where they don't even address the fact that the characters are technically speaking English, and they're just like, I'm sorry, I don't speak English.
They
is
just swap
every-
English and Japanese.
That is every like American movie with like Germans in it in German dub always. It's
I mean,
just
how
they
would you
just-
translate it?
Most of the time they just keep the original sound, like the original sound from the English version for the scenes where they also speak German, and just sounds kind of weird and off
Yeah.
in those scenes.
So what we've learned from discussing this show today is don't watch dubs. Just don't. Just don't watch dubs.
Why? Okay. What a finale! I found the final episode very weird and kind of too long, and it upset me a lot because in the end,
Secret base, come on!
They said that,
Secret base. It felt so realistic in
It
the
was
first
just cool
episode.
Japan, the last episode.
No,
Yes.
like because I didn't watch Disney Queen. The last episode, they implied or they said that like the islands are rising again, and Japan is gonna return, and immediately upon like the first bit of island rising, like immediately
built
there's
a
a new
monument.
city on it, and people are just returning, and I'm like, who would return
was a
to
theme
this
park.
hell
It wasn't the
place
city.
ever
It was
again?
like a monument to Japan.
I mean, it
No,
was
those were
a bunch
holograms.
of buildings, and they said,
Oh, that's not what bugged me about that. What bugged me about that is like, if they said it was gonna rise again, why did they like build like water cities?
That's true.
like connected to the land.
Yeah.
What are they gonna sit on the land if it rises?
I mean, I guess they could just rebuild shit in 10 years whenever
Yeah.
the next piece of land rises. I don't know. Maybe it made sense. I don't
to be
know.
honest, I think if something like this would happen in real life, I think that place would just stay abandoned for a very long time.
Would be smarter too, because you want to wait and see how it like develops, and then you like make a calculated
not
repopulation
after 2 years.
operation.
Okay, but
well,
like if Hawaii explodes in a giant volcano explosion today, nobody's gonna go back there.
But ignoring that logical leap, it is very poetic that Japan rises up again after sinking. Because that's the whole message of optimism of the entire show. And I do love that it's like, oh, Japan has been preserved and people will still enjoy these nostalgic memories of old Japan while moving forward with new Japan, which is how you should enjoy Japan in the present right now. You shouldn't cling to the past, but you should still remember it and enjoy it and be thankful that it happened even though it's gone. And I really thought, I don't know, the core message was really beautiful. And it really spoke to me, and I really enjoyed the little photo reel at the end. It made me really emotional. I really liked it overall.
And that theme is like with the mom constantly taking pictures, specifically like the Polaroids.
You knew those were coming back at the end.
I get. I mean, I get the theme, but there's like a bunch of ways that I thought would have been more interesting to deal with it. Like, for example, if it explored in the last 2 episodes or something, what's gonna happen to all the Japanese people who fled from the island, and if they're like gonna build colonies in different countries, and
didn't they show politicians having a conversation where they decide to build
or something like
in different countries?
Maybe they have to get
along
with
I'm
the
saying they
Koreans
showed
now,
that.
and
But they showed that
briefly. Yeah, but they didn't explore it.
Japan sinks 2022.
So Japan sinks 2064
in 2 years.
It's just a cyberpunk future. Has nothing to do with the island sinking. It just takes place in the new city.
To be honest, I would have liked that.
It didn't really deal a lot
sequel.
with the diaspora of Japanese people, more with, it's gonna rise again and everything's gonna...
It kind of skipped over the diaspora. The show was just like, everybody left, 10 years later, everybody's fine. They all have homes in other places. Nothing happened.
They could have made the cult episode...
I guess that's my problem.
They could have made the cult arc 1 episode and then added like 3 episodes
because
of that.
The cult arc is
maybe
the one that had the bad episode, which is the one where she figures everything out on coincidence. We could have skipped that episode and just have another one at the end. Maybe one during the time skip.
Also, a very important sex scene in that one, because we're in Netflix.
Oh yeah, there was a sex scene in that one. No wonder it was terrible.
Yeah. That sex scene also was like that served no point. Yeah, it's like
no, it was really
maybe
just,
the
we are
point
Netflix,
was
we
like
can do that.
We
Let's
can show
just do
sex
that.
between 2 old people, and it's not attractive, and this is progressive. Maybe that was the point. Stretching a little bit, but I can see why they would include it. Because it could have been the handsome people, but they chose like the old ugly people. Well, not ugly, but like not canonically standardized beautiful. So I guess that's why they did it.
I guess
I don't even remember
one
that
other
sex scene
problem. One other problem I have with it is that generally all the catastrophe and people fleeing from the islands was pretty small scale, because we dealt with like a small town of people moving, and they went to like villages and stuff, but we never really saw what happened in the like million and millions people cities, like masses of people, which would have been very interesting to see how catastrophe of that size would.
Yeah, it was definitely very much from the perspective of that family specifically and what they experience. We don't really change points of view.
There's also no like information about like what's the death toll? Like how many Japanese people are even left? Like who made it off the islands? Like,
yeah. That's it.
That's it.
I fucking built a balloon out of like trash he found on the water.
No, he found one of his balloons on the water. That was a kite balloon. It had his logo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, it was like his big stroke of luck. He was like, that's my balloon. I'm going to go up, send the Wi-Fi signal, and I'm sure my staff is around here to pick us up.
He just believed in his luck and it worked out.
Yeah, just believed in the heart of the cards.
Yeah.
That animation of him on the balloon was great, though.
Oh, that was so cool!
It was
Yuasa's grotesque.
The most impressive piece of animation of the show.
Oh,
it's just like really
oh god.
funny,
It was
but
like
also
he
sad.
didn't redraw any frames. He just made them all and then put them together and then that's it. No control Z.
He wrote down how many frames he should redraw, and instead of redrawing them, he just kept drawing that number of frames and adding it to the end, which is why it got so long.
I don't understand how some of the animation in this show is so bad.
That's true. There were some episodes that were so janky for no, like, why?
But Devilman was like that too.
Devilman was better.
Yeah,
Devilman
also
was
pretty
better,
janky.
but not as
amazing.
janky as this.
Azuken had
Not
some
nearly as
moments where
janky
like
as
the animation
this.
quality dropped, but it never got actually bad. It seemed like in Azuken it was like, okay, I can see that maybe they had to like cut corners. Yeah, because of the budget, and here it was just like. Okay, all I really remember, the scene that like is stuck in my head is a car driving through the mountains, and it's like animated on 6th or something, and it's not.
I think I know what you're talking about.
And it's not even like following the road. It's just like sort of wiggling around along the road.
I know what you mean.
And I don't understand. You could have easily made that in 3D and like from that like
They did have 3D cars.
They did, but why didn't they do it for that scene? Because it would have looked so much better. They even chose an angle where you wouldn't have even like really noticed if you composited it like, you know, like if you just put a little bit of effort into compositing, this would have looked great. But no, it's animated on 6th.
Maybe they
and it's
just did it on purpose.
Around.
Maybe the studio just has fun making things bad on purpose.
Just like the story.
But that's like, it doesn't fit the tone of the show at all. It's like
I agree. I think it's terrible.
Weaker.
There's also
did they have
the one
like weed curry at the office or something?
I'm sure they all had a couple weed curries in their day.
The one pretty good episode towards the end where they're stuck on the ocean. This is like the episode where they all have giant hands for some reason.
Oh, but that was so well animated though. Like the hands and the feet in that episode were so detailed.
They looked so off from like the rest of the show.
You could tell it was a different
giant,
person.
Chunky fingers.
Maybe they got like a
you could
special
tell it was a
animator
different
to animate
animator.
that, who's really good at hands and feet. When they were in the
What
boat.
episode?
Yeah.
I really don't. Oh, I didn't really notice that they were that much bigger, but I did notice that something was like different about the feet and the hands.
There's a few sequences that look very different. The faces are off model too, but I don't know. I really enjoyed the way that whole episode looked. It was so ugly and real and grotesque, and these people were in despair and just losing it and having these rambling conversations. Something about the show just really spoke to me on a lot of scenes. I really resonated with these characters.
I really like the first 2 episodes. Sorry, NeverPaint. Go.
The art style definitely helps with grounding it a lot, making a lot of scenes that would be very silly more serious, because they do a thing that I've never seen in anime before. I think that they like show the underside of the head like with an additional line. There's like an additional outline under the neck that they just look a lot goopier and realer than all anime characters.
Are you talking about chins?
Chins.
They drew chins.
No, they have the chin, and then they have a second line under the chin that symbolizes the Yeah, but the symbol is where the chin goes over into the neck.
Do you have a picture of what you
mean? I'm gonna look it up in a second.
What you're talking about, they do all the time in JoJo, which is not a very grounded show by any means, but...
I mean, JoJo has very different art set too, but yeah.
I'm just saying they do that too.
I mean, we mentioned it a couple of times that the first episodes were really good.
Yeah, first episode's great.
And now we've been shit-talking the show the whole time. I just want to mention that I really, really enjoyed the atmosphere of the first two episodes, because it was so quiet. So like there was almost, the music was really calm, and the whole thing was the calmness of it just made it feel so much
That's
more.
all I can think about.
Like so much heavier, because there was no loud explosions going on. There was no loud music, no dramatic stuff. Everything just collapsed, and it was quiet.
Yeah.
And it made it feel so powerful. And the funny thing is that the climax of the cult arc, which is the arc that I hated the most, was also the loudest episode. Because suddenly they had the weird generic dramatic music playing when they escaped in the car, and it was just horrible. I was like, oh, why did the show not stay quiet?
I feel like it would have been very redundant, though.
The music was pretty good.
If it was just episode 1 over and over and over again, they could have just been there, done that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
It didn't need to be a 10-episode show if it was just going to be that.
It could have been only the first 2 episodes and would have been perfect. I would have given it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it has a 5 or a 6 or something.
To be fair, I was shit talking it with the premise that I really enjoyed it and I would recommend watching it because it's really fun. It has some really good moments and you can laugh at the jank. I don't know. Overall, I'm very pleased with the show and it feels very personal, very, very passion-filled. It's a project with a lot of soul, and I really enjoy those kinds of projects, even if they're a little bit janky, more so than other things.
I would also recommend it if the first 2 episodes are really powerful, so you get an experience out of that, and then the rest is just interesting to see. Interesting to watch as a commentary of like almost as a meta commentary of what people in the anime industry think.
It's an anti-boomer anime,
and then how they and then of course if you also go and read the source material and watch some other adaptations, it will also be interesting in that context, just because it's like. It's Japan Sinks,
yeah. Well, the Japan Sinks, from what we learned from that YouTube video, has always been for about generational shift, which is why you can compare the generational shift from the 70s, from pre-war Japan and post-war Japan, to pre-internet Japan, post-internet Japan. I guess would be this. Like 80s Showa era Japan versus 2000s the League of Legends era Japan.
Oh, but they could have made it good with like less weird coincidences and subtle.
They could have made it more subtle, but I enjoy that the show wasn't afraid of making coincidences the point of the show.
Of making cringe.
It didn't make me cringe. But
it made me cringe a lot.
To be fair, I am very strong against cringe. I don't cringe very easily.
That's what I thought too.
Ultimately, I feel I feel it's good. I watched it, but ultimately, I'm a little disappointed. Because the first few episodes really make me feel, oh my god, this is like a really good anime. That's gonna be one of my favorites. Oh, whoa. And then it wasn't.
Yeah. I actually like
Devilman
almost
Run for 5 episodes.
I almost cried during the first episode.
I cried during the first episode.
Because it was so powerful.
Like, it was so...
I cried a lot.
Ugh.
I'm trash talking the show, but I cried a lot.
I cried at the last episode
like
too.
almost every episode.
You can't say that about many shows.
It's a show full of inconsistency, and it's strange that it exists, and it is what it is, and you can get a lot out of it if you approach it with the right mindset.
Yeah.
Just don't expect a perfect show.
To be honest, I like that the show is like this. Episode 1 exists and it's good on its own. I don't need the show to be perfect, and I think it would be less interesting if it was, to be honest, because it would end up being like one of these classic anime that are just good in every way. And you're like, you watch it and you're like, yep, this sure made me feel this thing that it was supposed to make me feel. But here, I don't know, I like things that are ugly and imperfect, and this is a great example of it. You can see the jank, and I enjoy the jank.
It does spark discussion, so I guess it's good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
we solved it. Japan thinks is good.
Recommended. Do what Tom Cruise would do. And
do what Tom Cruise would do, and don't sacrifice that old man. For the love of God, don't sacrifice
and
the old
PewDiePie. Man. How did you guys feel about the nationalistic aspect of Japan's so good?
Well, it was
bad.
The whole point is that it was countering the nationalism with globalism. The whole point was like, in the rap battle, you can see that they're hitting you over the head with it. Oh, the middle path is the best path. You know, Japan's pretty cool, but other countries are pretty cool as well, and we should all get along. Like that you need some amount of nationalism. It can't just be Japan bad, other things good all the time. The same way it can't be Japan good, other things bad all the time.
And it really was
That's
anti,
true.
Like Japanese racism.
Yeah.
You gotta be pure-blooded Japanese. It was really anti that, with the whole racist scene, and then the main characters being
all half Japanese.
The half Japanese. So it kind of, I think it might maybe like kind of try to redefine Japanese society as more of a global society than the isolated, what's the word? Something with G.
Globalism.
Homogenic society that some people wish it would still be.
Which is honestly really interesting, because I don't see anime do that at all. This is probably the most woke anime I've ever seen.
Most anime cowered out of pointing out Japan's problem with foreigners.
Maybe it was so unsubtle because this is the only way that...
Because it is for Japanese people.
Exactly, because it's for Japanese people who don't ever hear these messages. So that's why it's hitting you in the face with them.
But then why wouldn't they make it good? But then why wouldn't they make it good and have them actually care about the show and not like write it off as like, oh, haha, that's PewDiePie.
Because PewDiePie's really funny, bro. Look, he's in the show. He's blonde. Okay, I got nothing to add.
That reminds me, that thing at the last episode. There was a little girl with flying a kite with the kite logo. And then she was wearing a skirt, and then she took it off, and she was wearing shorts. What was that? What does that even mean?
I think it's kind of like a maybe it's a trans thing. I don't know. Maybe it's like it's Kite's daughter, but also maybe son, but also maybe daughter. I don't know.
It's 2020,
it was a
guys. Gender is a
flashback.
social construct.
I
thought it was a flashback.
Kites
and
are
then
a social
Kite was
construct.
trans.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. That's what I thought too. Like I think
But how would she have designed her logo when she was a kid?
Right. That's
She's a short child.
Oh, maybe the kite. Maybe the kite she had as a kid. No. Okay. Maybe the kite she had as a kid had that drawing, and then she transitions into Mr. Kite.
And he just ripped it off.
Exactly. Ripped it off and called himself Kite after that kite.
She wanted to be free from the gender binary, so she became a kite.
But the scene of her like just pulling her skirt down and having shorts under.
Well, I love the implication that Kite is trans now. I hadn't thought of it as a flashback. That's awesome.
Yeah, but there were like, if you wanted to do that, there were so many better ways to do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying about the whole show.
Yeah. but they tried, you know, and they tried so hard that I want to be their friend because they try really hard.
They tried hard.
They had so much passion, and that's what I care about.
It just feels to me like they didn't think any of this through, except
that's every anime.
No, it's really not. There's some really good anime.
I don't know.
I don't know. That's kind of a controversial opinion, Graf. I can't.
It's especially disappointing in the context of USS catalog.
Like,
This is really the guy who made Ping Pong the animation.
what,
made Kaiba.
like wasn't it that he was actually kind of not really involved with it, or just like a little bit?
That's what I already mentioned. It got 2 directors.
That's probably it.
Yeah.
One pointed to the left, one pointed to the right. What do you...
And they chose the middle path. Okay.
No, that's why it's goofy and serious.
We also had like a crisis and stuff. They probably had production issues. A lot of anime had to a lot of anime productions had to shut down. So they had probably more difficult conditions.
I wonder how long the pre-production took for this, because it was a bit strange to me how it's set like right after the Olympics, right? On 2020 in Japan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like right after the Olympics.
That never happened.
Like they couldn't just rewrite that?
No, are you kidding?
It probably was finished.
No, because the main plot was girls Olympic level athlete.
Yeah, her whole...
That makes a show even... That gives it a new, that's a new aspect that is interesting.
Yeah, because this is all pre-corona.
Because the Olympics are not happening, right?
The thing is, we needed
it's
Japan
the Olympics that
since
never existed.
2025.
They're in this show.
We needed Japan Sinks 2025 because this Japan Sinks was all before Corona, and Corona is another worldwide crisis that needs another Japan Sinks.
Japan gets infected 2020.
Japan coughs
Japan drowns in a
2020.
virus. Isn't Japan one of the least affected countries?
More like Japan stinks.
Oh, he said it, not me.
That's what I wanted to say.
All right, guys, you ready to wrap this up?
Yeah, there's only one thing left on my notes, and it's that they used one of my favorite albums for the DJ scene.
Really?
Yeah.
You knew that music?
Yes, it's
That's
Hiroshi
crazy.
Yoshimura's Green.
Green?
Yeah, just Green. It's a piece of ambient music. It's
the
really
birdies,
cool.
right?
I like
the
that.
birdies and the water.
Huh?
And the wawa.
Whoa.
Yeah, what did you say?
It's the part with the birdies and the wawa and then he turns
Yeah,
it into a
exactly.
funky.
Yep.
One thing, the mom's just a reminder, like she had the weird, what's it, pancreas thing?
Heart. It was her heart.
Heart thing. Oh. Whatever, she had that thing, and it's just a reminder that if I ever get into the apocalypse, I am dead first.
Well, she died at the end of the show, so...
She did.
Basically,
But
you'll
she lasted
survive.
pretty
You'll
long.
survive for a couple weeks, Asha. You'll be fine. But then you'll die.
I'll chirp on something and
Oh,
die.
no. You'll trip on a landmine.
I love the part, like, how there's, like, things left over from...
oh my god, that's so
was it
significant
World
that I
War
hadn't even
II?
thought about it. That's past conflict.
That was really cool.
That's so symbolic.
I liked that part.
That's true, but it also felt like someone just cursed them off screen and some landmine spawned. Like,
But that's literally the whole show. It's bad luck versus good luck.
I think
Bad writing was good
someone in
writing.
creative mode
Yeah.
placed some TNT under them with a pressure plate, and
I think that's like the point. Is like sometimes just death
Happens.
is like sporadic and random.
yeah,
And you can't control it. You just have to do your best
Sometimes
to
life
survive.
just has bad writing.
No. I mean,
I don't think
bad,
the death being sudden is bad writing.
The deaths are cool. I like the deaths. They get the point.
Death is cool.
No, not death is cool. It's just the way
I
death
agree,
is
Asha.
depicted
Death
in
is
the show
rad.
is cool.
I love death.
No, it isn't.
I like when people
Death is so
die.
cool.
I agree.
I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
was like,
we're all gonna
just-
die.
I was just
I
more
thought it was
concerned
good.
about.
We ended on that note.
Japan sinks 2020. We're all gonna die. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Goodbye.
Please don't die, guys. You're good. You're good. You're good.